Hello, lovely writers, and welcome to another Writerly Wednesday. Today is even less scripted than usual, which is not scripted at all, but it came about because I've been having these conversations and hearing other conversations. Really, the struggle is often between how much structure do I have at the beginning, and then as I'm going along, and or when I'm in the editing process, right? And oftentimes you're going to hear me say we want at least a minimum amount of structure, right, to create the foundation for writing. And then after that, we want to be able to have enough room to really grow into the magic that is story. But one thing I haven't talked as much about, but is coming around again and again, is that when you are in the writing, you're deep in it and or doing the editing, and something starts to happen with your character or characters, and you might feel a little bit blocked and it's not coming out right, or it's feeling very forced, and there isn't that two-way communication that you usually like to think that you have. Well, I've done videos previously, so go check them out on how you can communicate with your character. But it's a little bit deeper than that. Today, I wanted to talk about authority. Now, I always butcher this, but let me just say this. Robert McKee, who is a god of story, talks a little bit about this. There are sort of at least 3 different levels. What the author knows and they're sharing with the reader, what the reader knows because they are reading it from what the author has written, but also what they are intuiting, right, between the lines. And then there's a certain amount that the author doesn't actually know that they know, but it's going into the writing. How does that happen? How do we get to that place where as a writer, we're writing something and there's something that we're putting into the writing, into the subtext, that we didn't even know that we knew? Well, all of this is happening in the subconscious, and that's a part of the whole creative process that I love. But essentially, here is the thing. When you are going through an edit, or you're even in first draft, number 1, that communication with character is really important. But I'm not asking you to put it all on the page explicitly. Some of this is just that deep internal knowledge that you are taking, so that every time dialogue happens between certain characters or a twist is going to happen, you know inherently what your character is going to do. When I talk about conversations with characters, I'm not talking about up here. That is some of that. You know what they're going to do because you've had the conversation with them. So when we're first starting off writing, we generally have to write all the things, and we may put it all on the page. There's nothing wrong with that. It just means more editing later, which is totally fine. We don't escape editing, as you know, if you've been around me for a while, right? But what I do want you to do is relax into this knowledge that you're going to have details upon details upon details about main characters, but also secondary characters and even total extras that might not get their name, right? You're going to have all of this detail because that is part of your world building, so that what is translated to the page is believable to the reader, even though you are not line by line telling them everything you know. Here's the truth. That's boring. We don't actually inventory everything. Like every room we go in, we don't look at absolutely everything. We let it all, our eyes pick up what we pick up. And yet there's some stuff that goes in from the periphery. That same sort of energy happens in your writing. And that's what I'm referring to when I talk about authority. So don't be afraid to, again, just keep those 5 basic plot points, basic structure. But in and amongst all of your writing sessions, I want you to allow yourself to dive into deeper conversations, either directly with your characters or between characters about another character. No more. Here's my best example. J.K. Rowling. We've got, oh my gosh, is it 7 books? They're quite robust. that's not the extent of everything she knows about Harry Potter and the rest of the world at Hogwarts and how Muggles live. And she knows every tiny thing. And yet she didn't have to express it to us in those books. A lot of words were expressed, but a lot of that knowledge is retained. And that's what she shares maybe in interviews and all sorts of extras that people want to know. But what made her books so engaging was that she had that knowledge. She had the authority to write in each particular thing. She got to watch the characters grow, but she knew specific things that were never seen on the page. And that's why we love it. And I know that that is what you are capable of too. Because of course, like always, I know you have a story to tell. It's time to tell it. And I don't want you to back away from all of this fun stuff. Is it work? For sure. But we're doing it because we love it. And you have this story that you want to tell, and you have these characters that you want to share. So you share them in your way, but don't back away from knowing all of those fun and intricate details. Even if your character makes you angry or sad or heartbroken or feel in love, all of those things add to the magic of your manuscript. If you've got any questions, please drop them in the comments below. Otherwise, I will see you next week for another Writerly Wednesday. Bye.